Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my October TBR. I have a pretty decent pile like right in front of me, and they are in no particular order. I just pulled them out randomly. Since it's October, I did pick out like a lot of spooky books. So there's some like monster stuff, some ghost stuff, some creepy aspects, and like gloomy stuff. I also did pick out one book that has a theme of death but celebration. So I'll tell you which book that is, but it's not really a spooky book. It's more like a poetry book that focuses on death and celebration. But yeah, let's just get into this pile because it is a pretty big pile. So for the first book, it's The Dark Descent, and it is a collection book that features horror fiction from various authors. You can see some of the authors that are featured in this. And it's just an anthology book. I actually got this book for my horror class that I had in spring semester. So I don't remember if we read anything out of this. I didn't really pick up this book that much during that class. So I do want to read it just to kind of make up for not really reading it during that class when I was supposed to. Since this book has a lot of stories in it, what I'm going to do is just pick out random stories and read from them. That's basically what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna really read this in order because it's a really big book and I really don't want to spend like a lot of time on it because this will take me a while to read. So I'll probably try to read like the shorter stories in this. And my main goal with this is to probably read at least, I would probably say like 5 stories. And then for the second book, it's Darling Girl by Liz Mikowski. This was one of my book of the month picks and I haven't read it yet. It is a retelling of Peter Pan, and I think if I remember right, Peter Pan is the villain of the story, or it's something like that. But I am expecting this to have like a unsettling vibe to it, hence why I did pick it to read in October. So yeah, this is going to be my second book for this month. Okay, for the third book, this is not my book, it's my brother's book, and I'm just gonna borrow it from him for this month since he said I could. And it is Uzumaki by Junji Ito. This is a book that I have been basically kind of dying to read for a while now. So it is probably going to be one of the first things that I read in October, just because I've been wanting to read this and I really can't wait to read this one. So yeah, I'm gonna read Uzumaki finally. And then this one is The Great Tales of Horror and the Supernatural. This is another one that I had to get for my horror class. And we did read a lot of stories from this one, but we didn't like go through like the whole book. It was probably like just 1 or 2 stories. We didn't really have time to do more stories. So like with the last one, I am gonna just pick random stories from this because they do feature different authors and they're like short stories. So I am just gonna pick random stories and probably at most read like 5 more stories out of this and just keep doing that. Again, it's a pretty big book, so I don't want to spend too much time reading it. For my 5th book, I am gonna be reading Holic, Ambius 1. And I am going to be pretty much reading the whole thing just because this is probably going to be very quick for me to read. And I already kind of know what happened since I already watched the anime. There might be some new stuff in here, but for the most part, I kind of already know what happened. So I'm expecting myself to get through this really quickly. And for this particular book, it does have like a witchy, magical, and supernatural aspects to it, hence why I wanted to read it in October again. But yeah, this is going to be the 5th book. And then for the 6th book, it's going to be it is going to be Another. This is the first book. This is like a, how would I say, it's not really a ghost story, it's more like a disaster curse like story. It is one of those stories that does remind me of like ghostly aspects, but I don't know if it's like that per much. It's probably more on like the paranormal side, I guess. It involves like a curse and like people dying, so I don't really know what that will fall under. But yeah, this is what I'm going to be reading. And then to follow along with this, I am going to be reading the second book, which is Another Episode SO. I already talked about this in my last haul video, but these 2 books do take place in the same year. So yeah, I'm gonna be reading these two one after another just to kind of fill in that, I'm just gonna say, like, ghostly vibe, really. So yeah, this is gonna be 6th and 7th book. So for the next two books, they're ones that are not, don't really have to do anything with Halloween. They're not horror books in any way, and they look at more of the realistic realities of life. Like, there's nothing scary about them. They're just like very heavy books that I wanted to read. So for the first of the two, it is Night of the Living Rest by Morgan Talley. And this is a collection book also. So this book is set on a native reservation in Maine, and it looks at 12 different stories happening on that reservation in one night. So it's basically like a collection of little stories from a single night, basically. This one I will be reading from front to back. I won't be skipping around. And then for the final book, it is going to be A Crown for Gumencino. I am pretty sure I messed up that last part. I'm not really sure how to say it. So I will be putting the title at the bottom of the screen. And this is the book that I was talking about, where it is a poetry book that looks at death and celebration. This is something that I got from my class. It was like a supplemental reading, but I kind of want to read it, like actually read it. So it is a really short book. There are images scattered out throughout this book. And the author made this book to kind of celebrate her grandfather who had passed away. So that's why I said it is a book that kind of looks at death and celebration. So yeah, this is the final book that I'm going to be reading. So yeah, that is pretty much all the books I want to read in October. Some of these are short, so I will be going to those first. Then, like I showed, I do have 2 collection books that I will be reading, only like 5 at most stories from them. But other than that, that is pretty much it. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to, and I hope you have a nice day, morning, or night. Bye. Later.